The silence in Seoul National University's main auditorium is deafening as Michaela Bryant steps through the heavy wooden doors. Rain drums against the windows, but every head turns toward her. 200 Korean students and faculty members watching a single black woman walk down the aisle with her chin raised and shoulders squared. Her golden skin gleams under the harsh fluorescent lights, her long curly hair still damp from the storm outside, and her tiger eyes sweep the room with unflinching determination. Professor Kim clears his throat at the podium. "Miss Bryant, you're 20 minutes late." "My apologies, Professor." Michaela's Korean is flawless, each syllable pronounced with the precision that comes from years of study. She doesn't explain about the security guard who questioned her student ID 3 times, or the group of students who blocked her path asking if she was lost. She simply takes her seat in the front row, pulls out her notebook, and prepares to take notes as if nothing happened. Behind her, whispers ripple through the auditorium like wildfire. Professor Kim continues his lecture on international trade policy, but his voice competes with the storm outside and the storm of curiosity Michaela's presence has unleashed. From the observation deck above the auditorium, Park Jin-woo watches through floor-to-ceiling windows. He'd come to campus to scout for talent, brilliant students who might join his technology startup after graduation. Instead, he finds himself transfixed by a young woman who just weathered a room full of stares without flinching. As the lecture ends and students file out, Michaela remains seated, transcribing her notes with methodical precision. She's still there when Professor Kim approaches, his expression unreadable. "Miss Bryant." His voice carries the weight of institutional authority. "Perhaps we should discuss your integration into this program." Michaela looks up, and Jin-woo sees something flash in her eyes. Not fear, but the kind of steel that can cut through bureaucratic nonsense. "Is there something about my academic performance you'd like to discuss, Professor?" The challenge hangs in the air like electricity before lightning strikes, and Jin-woo realizes he's about to witness something that will change everything. For her, for him, and for destinies that are about to collide with the force of a perfect storm. What would you do if you discovered the most talented person you'd ever met was being systematically excluded from opportunities they'd earned? What if falling in love meant choosing between the world you inherited and the world you could help create? Subscribe to follow Michaela and Jin-woo's journey, as they discover that sometimes the most beautiful love stories begin with the courage to fight for what's right, even when the entire world seems determined to keep you apart. Professor Kim's office smells like old books and disappointment. Michaela sits across from his desk, her posture perfect, despite the weight of judgment pressing down from every corner of the room. Diplomas and awards line the walls, a fortress of academic achievement that somehow feels designed to make visitors feel small. "Your test scores are exceptional," Professor Kim admits, shuffling through her file. "Top of your class at Georgetown, recommendation letters that read like love songs to your intellect. But Miss Bryant..." He pauses, studying her face. "Seoul National University has certain expectations." Michaela's hands remain folded in her lap, but Jin-woo can see the tension in her shoulders from where he stands in the hallway outside the office. He hadn't meant to eavesdrop, but something about the conversation had frozen him in place. "What kind of expectations, Professor?" "Cultural integration, social harmony, understanding one's place in the academic hierarchy." Each word lands like a carefully placed stone. "Perhaps you might consider adjusting your approach, being less visible." The suggestion hits the air like a slap. Michaela's tiger eyes narrow, and Jin-woo sees exactly what had captivated him in the auditorium. This woman doesn't shrink. She expands. "Professor Kim," her voice remains level, controlled. "Are you suggesting that excellence should be invisible if it comes in a package you weren't expecting?" "I'm suggesting that wisdom lies in understanding the environment you're operating within." Michaela stands, and even through the glass door, Jin-woo can feel the power radiating from her small frame. Then perhaps the environment needs to expand its definition of wisdom. She turns toward the door, and Jin-woo realizes he's about to be caught listening. But when she steps into the hallway and sees him there, she doesn't look embarrassed or angry. She looks curious. "Interesting place to take a phone call," she says, noticing his phone pressed to his ear. A phone that hasn't rung once. Jin-woo lowers the device, feeling heat creep up his neck. In boardrooms full of senior executives, he commands respect with a glance. But this woman in her simple jeans and university sweatshirt has somehow rendered him speechless. The acoustics are better here, he manages. For eavesdropping? For considering job offers. The lie comes easily, but her raised eyebrow suggests she's not buying it. I'm Park Jin-woo. I run a technology startup. Michaela Bryant. I survive Korean academia. She extends her hand, and when he shakes it, her grip is firm, confident. Are you really offering me a job, or was that just cover for being nosy? The directness catches him off guard. In his world of calculated business moves and strategic conversations, her honesty feels revolutionary. Both, he admits. I heard what happened in there, and I heard how you handled it. Her expression softens slightly. And I think you'd be wasted in an environment that wants you to dim your light. Jin-woo pulls a business card from his wallet. Elegant, minimalist, expensive. We're always looking for brilliant people who aren't afraid to challenge conventional wisdom. Michaela studies the card, her eyes widening as she recognizes the company name. Park Technologies. You're that Park Jin-woo? Guilty. The one who revolutionized mobile payment systems in Korea? Also guilty. She looks at him differently now, and Jin-woo isn't sure if he likes the shift. In the span of 10 seconds, he's gone from mysterious eavesdropper to corporate prince, and he's not certain which version of himself she preferred. Why would the CEO of Park Technologies be recruiting on university campuses personally? Because the best minds aren't always found through traditional channels. The truth surprises him with its simplicity. Sometimes they're found defending themselves against professors who mistake brilliance for arrogance. Michaela laughs, a sound that transforms her entire face and makes Jin-woo understand why poets write about music in human voices. Mr. Park, are you offering me an internship or therapy? Whichever one gets you to say yes. The rain outside has softened to a gentle patter against the windows, and students pass by in the hallway without giving them a second glance. Two strangers talking business, nothing unusual there. But Jin-woo feels like he's standing at the edge of a cliff, waiting for someone to push him over. I'll think about it, Michaela says, tucking his card into her textbook. But I should warn you, I don't do well with people who expect me to be grateful for opportunities I've earned. Good, Jin-woo replies without hesitation. Neither do I. As she walks away, her steps echoing in the corridor, Jin-woo realizes he's made a decision that has nothing to do with business strategy and everything to do with the way she carries herself, like she owns the world, even when the world keeps trying to prove her wrong. But what he doesn't see is Sarah Kim watching from around the corner, her phone already buzzing with a text message that will set forces in motion neither of them could have anticipated. The Park Technologies building rises from Seoul's Gangnam district like a glass monument to innovation, its 42 floors reflecting the city's endless ambition. Michaela stands in the marble lobby, feeling underdressed despite her best business casual outfit. The security guard who checked her ID spoke to her in slow, careful English until she responded in fluent Korean, at which point his entire demeanor shifted from condescension to surprise. The elevator to the 38th floor moves with whisper-quiet efficiency, and Michaela uses the 60-second ride to center herself. She's here for an informational interview. Nothing more. Despite Jin-woo's compelling offer, she can't afford to get distracted from her exchange program. Not when so much depends on her success. The elevator doors open to reveal a world of sleek modern design and floor-to-ceiling windows that showcase Seoul's sprawling cityscape. Min Soo-jin, Jin-woo's assistant, greets her with a warm smile and perfect English. Miss Bryant, welcome to Park Technologies. Mr. Park is finishing up a conference call, but he'll be with you shortly. Soo-jin leads her through an open-concept workspace where young professionals work at standing desks and collaborate in glass-walled meeting rooms. The energy is infectious, creative, dynamic, nothing like the stifling hierarchy Michaela has encountered elsewhere in Korea. Your Korean is excellent, Soo-jin comments as they walk. How long have you been studying? 6 years, since high school. Michaela pauses, debating how much to share. I wanted to understand different perspectives on international relations. Korea seemed like a good place to start. And now? What do you think of our perspectives? The question is casual, but Michaela senses deeper currents underneath. I think Korea is more complex than most Americans realize. And I think many Koreans underestimate how much foreigners can adapt and contribute if given the chance. Soo-jin's smile becomes more genuine. Mr. Park will like that answer. They reach Jinwoo's office, and through the glass walls, Michaela can see him pacing while speaking rapidly into a headset. Even in his white button-down and navy slacks, he radiates the kind of controlled intensity she recognizes from her own ambitious friends back home. When he sees them approaching, he holds up one finger, asking for just another minute. Coffee? Tea? Soo-jin offers. Coffee, please. Black. While they wait, Michaela studies the office. Minimalist furniture, awards, and patents displayed with understated pride, and a single personal photograph tucked discreetly on his desk. She can't make out the details from where she sits, but it appears to be a family photo. Jinwoo ends his call and removes the headset, his business persona melting into something more relaxed as he approaches them. Miss Bryant, thank you for coming. I hope Soo-jin has been taking good care of you. She's been wonderful. Michaela accepts the coffee cup Soo-jin offers. Your office is impressive. The view alone would make it hard to concentrate. You get used to it. Though I still catch myself staring sometimes, especially when I need to think through complex problems. Jinwoo settles into the chair across from her, and Michaela notices he chooses a seat beside his desk rather than behind it. A subtle gesture that levels the playing field. So, he begins, tell me about your experience at SNU, beyond Professor Kim's concerns. Michaela sets down her coffee cup, considering how honest to be. The academic work is challenging but manageable. The cultural navigation is more complex. How so? I'm not sure if people see me as Michaela Bryant, the international relations student, or as the black girl who somehow ended up in their classroom. The words come out more bluntly than she intended. It's like being a walking conversation piece. Jinwoo leans forward, his expression serious. I'm sorry. That must be exhausting. His response surprises her. Most people either dismiss her concerns or launch into well-meaning speeches about diversity and inclusion. Jinwoo simply acknowledges the reality she's living. It is, she admits. But it's also motivating. Every time someone assumes I don't belong somewhere, it makes me more determined to prove I do. Good. Channel that energy. Jinwoo stands and moves to the window. Do you know what this company was 5 years ago? A startup focused on mobile payment solutions? A startup that every major corporation in Korea dismissed as too small, too young, too inexperienced to compete. He turns back to her. Now we process 30% of mobile transactions in Seoul, and those same corporations are trying to buy us out. Michaela sees where he's leading. You understand being underestimated. I understand being told you don't belong in rooms you've earned the right to enter. Jinwoo returns to his seat. The question is, what are you going to do about it? What do you mean? You can spend your semester at SNU fighting battles that don't change systems, or you can help us build something that proves excellence speaks louder than expectations. The proposition hangs in the air between them. Michaela feels her pulse quicken, not from nervousness, but from recognition. This is the kind of opportunity she came to Korea to find. What exactly are you proposing? Jinwoo pulls a tablet from his desk drawer and slides it toward her. The screen shows a detailed project outline, a mobile application designed to connect international students with local Korean mentors, featuring language exchange, cultural guidance, and professional networking. We want to build a bridge, he says, between international students who feel isolated and Korean professionals who want to expand their global perspectives. You'd lead the user experience research, conduct interviews with students like yourself, and help design something that actually addresses real needs. Michaela scrolls through the proposal, her excitement building with each section. The project is ambitious, meaningful, and perfectly aligned with her academic interests. The compensation would cover your living expenses, plus a significant stipend, Jinwoo continues. 20 hours per week, flexible schedule to accommodate your classes, and full access to our development team, market research resources, and business strategy sessions. This is... Michaela looks up from the tablet. This is exactly what I was hoping to find in Korea. Good, because I have a confession to make. Jinwoo's expression becomes more serious. This project didn't exist until yesterday. I created it specifically for you, after watching how you handled yourself with Professor Kim. The admission should feel manipulative, but instead Michaela finds it flattering. You invented a job for me. I invented an opportunity for us. Your insights into the international student experience, combined with our technological resources and market access, could create something genuinely impactful. Michaela sets down the tablet, her mind racing. The offer is better than anything she could have imagined. Professional experience, financial security, and the chance to work on something meaningful. But underneath her excitement, a small voice warns her to be cautious. Mr. Park, can I ask you something directly? Of course. Why me? Not just my qualifications, but why me specifically? You don't know me well enough to create an entire project around our collaboration. Jinwoo is quiet for a long moment, and Michaela watches him carefully. When he speaks again, his voice is softer, more personal. Because watching you refuse to be diminished reminded me why I started this company in the first place. Not for profit or recognition, but to prove that innovation comes from embracing different perspectives, not excluding them. The answer feels genuine, and Michaela finds herself wanting to believe him. But she's learned to be careful about people who offer exactly what she needs when she needs it most. I'll need some time to think about it. Of course. Take all the time you need. Jinwoo stands, extending his hand. But while you're thinking, remember that some opportunities are worth taking risks for. As Michaela shakes his hand, she realizes the risk isn't just professional, it's personal. There's something about Park Jinwoo that makes her want to trust him, and that might be the most dangerous part of all. The elevator ride down feels different from the one up. She's no longer a curious student exploring possibilities. She's someone who's been offered a chance to change her entire Korean experience. The question is whether she's brave enough to take it. Outside, Seoul's afternoon rush hour is beginning, and the streets fill with purposeful energy. Michaela walks toward the subway station, Jinwoo's business card warm in her palm, knowing that whatever decision she makes will alter the trajectory of everything that comes next. The Park Technologies cafeteria buzzes with late afternoon energy as Michaela settles into her usual corner table with Soo-jin. It's been 3 weeks since she started her internship, and the rhythm of corporate life is beginning to feel natural. Her mobile app project has gained momentum, with user interviews revealing insights that surprised even Jinwoo's experienced development team. The senior leadership meeting went well, Soo-jin says, unwrapping her kimbap. Mr. Park presented your research findings to the board, and they were very impressed. Michaela feels a flush of pride. Really? Even the part about Korean companies underestimating international talent? Especially that part. You should have seen Chairman Park's expression when Jinwoo quoted your statistics about wasted intellectual resources. The mention of Jinwoo's grandfather makes Michaela pause. She's only met Chairman Park once, during a brief introduction at the company's monthly all-hands meeting. He'd studied her with sharp eyes and spoken to her in formal Korean, testing her language skills with questions about her background and career goals. What's he like? She asks. The chairman, I mean. Really like? Soo-jin considers the question carefully. Brilliant, traditional, someone who built an empire by understanding both innovation and patience. She pauses. And someone who's been watching your work very closely. Is that good or bad? With Chairman Park, it's always both. Before Michaela can ask what that means, Sarah Kim appears at their table with a coffee and an expression that suggests important news. Mind if I join you? Sarah asks, already pulling out a chair. I just came from the most interesting conversation. Sarah has become Michaela's closest friend in Seoul, a Korean-American student who understands the challenge of navigating cultural expectations from both sides. Her presence at Park Technologies isn't coincidental. She's interning with the marketing team while completing her business degree. Define interesting, Michaela says. Sarah glances around the cafeteria before leaning closer. Lee Sang-min was asking about you today. Very specific questions about your background, your family, your reasons for coming to Korea. The name makes both Michaela and Soo-jin tense. Lee Sang-min is a senior investor and board member who's been circling Park Technologies like a well-dressed shark, looking for ways to increase his influence over company decisions. What kind of questions? Soo-jin asks. Whether she has any family connections in Korea, whether her academic funding comes from government sources, whether her relationship with Jin-woo extends beyond professional collaboration. Michaela's chest tightens. My relationship with Jin-woo is entirely professional. I know that. You know that. But Sang-min seems to think there's more to the story. Sarah pulls out her phone and shows them a photo she took discreetly. Sang-min in conversation with a man neither of them recognize. And he's not investigating alone. Soo-jin studies the photo, her expression growing troubled. That's Detective Park Hyun-soo. He specializes in background investigations for corporate security. Corporate security? Michaela's voice rises slightly. Why would they need to investigate my background? Because you're having more influence than they expected, a new voice answers. The three women look up to see Jin-woo approaching their table. Even in his casual Friday attire, dark jeans and a gray sweater, he radiates the kind of executive authority that makes conversations pause at nearby tables. May I sit? He asks, though he's already pulling out the remaining chair. Jin-woo, what's going on? Soo-jin asks directly. He settles into his seat and lowers his voice. Sang-min called an emergency board meeting for Monday morning, supposedly to discuss strategic direction and personnel decisions. But my sources suggest it's specifically about Michaela's project. Michaela feels like the floor just shifted beneath her feet. What's wrong with my project? Nothing. It's brilliant, well-researched, and exactly the kind of innovation that will set us apart from competitors. Jin-woo's jaw tightens, which is precisely why Sang-min wants to kill it. I don't understand. Sarah leans forward. Michaela, your app doesn't just connect international students with Korean mentors. It creates a network that could bypass traditional corporate recruiting methods. Korean companies wouldn't be able to control which foreign talent they get access to. The implications sink in slowly. Michaela's project isn't just about cultural exchange. It's about economic power. And people like Sang-min profit from controlling access to opportunities. There's more, Jin-woo continues. Sang-min has been spreading concerns about foreign influence in Korean technology companies, suggesting that hiring international talent, especially in sensitive positions, represents a security risk. That's ridiculous, Michaela protests. I'm a student intern, not a corporate spy. You're a brilliant student intern whose innovations could reshape how Korea approaches international collaboration, Soo-jin corrects gently. That makes you dangerous to people who prefer the status quo. Jin-woo reaches across the table and places his hand over Michaela's. A gesture so natural it surprises both of them. I won't let him destroy what you've built. The warmth of his palm against her skin sends an unexpected jolt through Michaela's system. For weeks, their relationship has been professionally flirtatious, stayed within careful boundaries. But this moment feels different, more personal. What can we do? She asks. We fight. Monday morning, you'll present your project to the full board. Show them the user data, the market research, the potential revenue projections. Jin-woo's eyes hold hers. Show them that innovation comes from embracing talent, not restricting it. And if they decide against the project anyway? Jin-woo's hand tightens around hers. Then we'll find another way. I didn't invite you into this company to watch you be diminished by men who mistake fear for wisdom. The conviction in his voice makes Michaela's chest warm. She realizes that somewhere over the past 3 weeks, this stopped being just about professional opportunity. She cares about Jin-woo, about his company, his vision, his willingness to fight for what he believes is right. Okay, she says. Let's do it. As they finalize their strategy for Monday's presentation, none of them notice the figure watching from across the cafeteria. A figure with a phone pressed to his ear and eyes that miss nothing. By evening, Lee Sang-min will have a complete dossier on Michaela Bryant's academic records, visa status, and financial background. He'll also have something more valuable: confirmation that Park Jin-woo's interest in the young American goes far beyond business strategy. And in a world where corporate warfare is fought with information rather than weapons, that kind of intelligence is more dangerous than any of them realize. But tonight, walking out of Park Technologies together as Seoul's neon lights begin to flicker on, Michaela and Jinwoo are focused on the battle ahead, not the war they're about to step into. Seoul's autumn air carries the scent of street food and possibility as Michaela emerges from Gangnam Station. The board presentation went better than she dared hope. 3 hours of detailed questions, impressed nods from senior executives, and approval for the next phase of development. Even Sang-min had seemed grudgingly respectful by the end. Her phone buzzes with a congratulatory message from Sarah, followed by another from Soo-jin, and finally one that makes her heart skip. Dinner to celebrate? I know a place that makes the best bulgogi in Seoul. J. The restaurant Jinwoo chose is tucked away in an alley most tourists never find. A family-run establishment where the owner recognizes him and leads them to a private room with low tables and traditional floor seating. The walls are lined with photos of celebrity diners, but the atmosphere is warm and unpretentious. I can't believe you pulled that off, Jinwoo says, as they settle onto cushions across from each other. When Sang-min started questioning the security implications, I thought we were finished. That was the moment I knew we had won, Michaela replies, accepting the menu from their server. He was grasping for objections, which meant he couldn't find legitimate flaws in the project itself. Jinwoo orders for both of them in rapid Korean, then turns back to her with an expression she can't quite read. You realize what this means, don't you? You've just convinced one of Korea's most traditional corporate boards to embrace an idea that challenges everything they've believed about international collaboration. We convinced them. This was your project as much as mine. No, Jinwoo shakes his head. This was your vision, your research, your presentation. I just provided the platform. The server returns with banchan, small plates of kimchi, pickled vegetables, and seasoned spinach that fill the low table with color and aroma. As they begin to eat, their conversation flows easily from business to personal, touching on Michaela's experiences growing up in Chicago, Jinwoo's complicated relationship with family expectations, and their shared fascination with how technology can bridge cultural divides. Can I ask you something? Michaela says as Jinwoo grills bulgogi at their table. Why did you really create this project for me? And please don't give me the corporate innovation speech. Jinwoo's hands pause over the sizzling meat. When he looks up, his expression is more vulnerable than she's ever seen it. Because you reminded me of someone I used to be. Before board meetings and investor presentations and all the compromises that come with success, he transfers perfectly cooked beef to her plate. Watching you fight for your ideas, refuse to be intimidated, insist on being heard. It made me remember why I wanted to build this company in the first place. And why was that? To prove that innovation comes from different perspectives, not despite them. To show that Korea could lead the world not by excluding foreign talent, but by embracing it. The honesty in his voice makes Michaela's chest tighten. What changed? Reality. Investors who preferred safer bets. Board members who measured success in quarterly profits rather than cultural impact. The gradual erosion of idealism by practical compromise. Michaela sets down her chopsticks. Jinwoo, you're 28 years old and you've already built something most people only dream about. Maybe the problem isn't that you've compromised your ideals. Maybe it's that you've forgotten how revolutionary they still are. Something shifts in his expression. Surprise, gratitude, and something deeper that makes her pulse quicken. Thank you, he says quietly. For what? For reminding me who I wanted to be when I grew up. They finish dinner as the restaurant fills with the evening crowd, their conversation growing more personal and intimate. When Jinwoo suggests walking along the Han River before calling a taxi, Michaela agrees without hesitation. The riverbank path is illuminated by streetlights and the distant glow of Seoul's skyline. Other couples stroll past them, some holding hands, others absorbed in quiet conversation. The autumn air is crisp but not cold, perfect for walking and talking and discovering that professional admiration has somehow evolved into something more complex. Your Korean is really exceptional, Jinwoo comments as they pause at a scenic overlook. How did you become so fluent? Stubbornness, mostly. I hate being excluded from conversations, so I made it my mission to understand every nuance. Michaela leans against the railing, her hair catching the breeze. Plus, I wanted to read Korean literature in the original language. Poetry, especially. Do you have a favorite poet? Ko-eun. His work about recovering from trauma and rebuilding after loss. She glances at him sideways. What about you? Do you read poetry? Not as much as I should. Though I've always been drawn to pieces about transformation. How individuals and societies change and grow. They're standing closer now. And Michaela can feel the warmth radiating from Jinwoo's body. The conversation has taken on the quality of deeper intimacy. The kind that happens when two people realize they're genuinely interested in each other's inner lives. Michaela, Jinwoo says, his voice softer than usual. Can I tell you something? Of course. Working with you these past few weeks has been the most energizing professional experience I've had in years. But it's also been... He pauses, searching for the right words. It's also been something more than professional. Her heart starts beating faster. Jinwoo, I know this complicates everything. Employee relationships, cultural expectations, the board's perception of our project. His eyes hold hers in the dim light. But I can't pretend that what I feel for you is purely about business collaboration. Michaela feels like she's standing at the edge of a cliff, exhilarated and terrified in equal measure. Every rational part of her mind warns against mixing personal feelings with professional opportunities. But when she looks at Jinwoo, she sees not just the CEO who gave her a chance, but a man whose passion for innovation matches her own, whose integrity has impressed her daily, whose gentle consideration has made her feel valued in ways that extend far beyond career advancement. It's not purely professional for me either, she admits. The space between them seems to shrink without either of them moving. Jinwoo's hand comes up to touch her face, his thumb brushing across her cheek with infinite gentleness. Are we about to make a terrible mistake? He asks. Probably, she whispers. But when he leans down and kisses her, it doesn't feel like a mistake. It feels like recognition. The moment when two people stop pretending they're not deeply attracted to each other and admit that some connections transcend professional boundaries. The kiss is soft at first, tentative, giving both of them the chance to pull away if they want to. But when Michaela responds by stepping closer and threading her fingers through his hair, Jinwoo deepens the connection with a passion that speaks of weeks of controlled desire finally finding expression. They break apart when the need for air becomes urgent, both breathing heavily and staring at each other with a mixture of wonder and alarm. Wow, Michaela breathes. Yeah, wow. They're still processing what just happened when a flash of light catches their attention. Across the path, a figure with a professional camera disappears into the shadows between streetlights. Did you see? Michaela starts. Yeah. Jinwoo's expression hardens. I saw. The romantic spell breaks as reality crashes back over them. They're not just two people who shared a moment. They're a Korean CEO and his American intern, whose personal relationship could be weaponized by anyone looking to undermine their professional success. Jinwoo, if that photo gets published, it changes everything. He runs a hand through his hair, his business mind already calculating damage control strategies. Sangman will use it to question both my judgment and your motivations. Michaela feels sick. Maybe we should head back. Yeah, we should. But as they walk toward the main road to catch a taxi, Jinwoo reaches for her hand and squeezes it gently. Michaela? Yes? I don't regret what just happened. Whatever consequences we have to face, I don't regret it. Despite everything, the complications, the potential scandal, the uncertainty about what comes next. Michaela finds herself smiling. Neither do I. The taxi ride back to her dormitory is quiet, both of them lost in thought about what their relationship has become and what it might cost them. But when Jinwoo walks her to the building entrance and kisses her goodnight, briefly, sweetly, like a promise, Michaela realizes that some risks are worth taking, even when you can't predict where they'll lead. What she doesn't know is that the photographer who captured their kiss along the Han River has already sent the images to someone who's been waiting for exactly this kind of ammunition. And by morning, their private moment will become public currency in a game where love and ambition collide with devastating consequences. The Park Technologies lobby feels different this morning, charged with tension that makes conversations pause when Michaela enters. Security guards who usually greet her with friendly nods now avoid eye contact. The elevator ride to the 38th floor seems longer than usual, filled with silence that speaks of secrets and whispered conversations. Soo-jin is waiting when the elevator doors open, her expression carefully neutral, but her eyes filled with concern. "Michaela, Mr. Park wants to see you immediately. Conference room B. Is everything okay? I think you should speak with him directly." The walk to the conference room feels like a death march. Through glass walls, Michaela can see other employees working at their desks, but their conversations seem muted, as if the entire floor is holding its breath. Conference room B overlooks Seoul's morning skyline, but Jin-woo isn't admiring the view. He's standing at the head of a long table, his expression grim, while Chairman Park sits in a leather chair that might as well be a throne. Between them lies a manila envelope that seems to contain the end of everything Michaela has built. "Please sit," Chairman Park says in formal Korean, his tone suggesting this is not a request. Michaela takes the chair opposite him, her hands folded in her lap despite their tendency to shake. Jin-woo remains standing, but his eyes meet hers briefly, a silent communication that offers support even in crisis. "Miss Bryant," Chairman Park continues, "it has come to our attention that your relationship with my grandson extends beyond professional collaboration." The words hit like physical blows. Michaela's mouth goes dry, but she forces her voice to remain steady. "Sir, I'm not sure what you're referring to." Chairman Park opens the manila envelope and slides 3 photographs across the table. They show Michaela and Jin-woo at the Han River, talking, laughing, and in the final image, kissing with passion that looks even more intimate captured in black and white. "These were delivered to our offices this morning, along with a note suggesting that your internship was arranged for reasons unrelated to professional merit." Michaela stares at the photos, feeling like she's watching her dreams disintegrate in real time. The images are beautiful and damning, evidence of genuine connection that will be twisted into something sordid and manipulative. "Grandfather," Jin-woo's voice cuts through the silence. "This is a private matter between consenting adults. Privacy is a luxury we cannot afford when it affects company reputation and board confidence." Chairman Park's eyes never leave Michaela's face. "Miss Bryant, I need to understand the nature of your relationship with my grandson and whether it has influenced professional decisions regarding your internship." The question hangs in the air like a trap. Any answer Michaela gives can be used against her. Deny the relationship and she's lying. Admit it, and she's confirmed that she's compromised her professional integrity. "Sir, my feelings for Jin-woo developed after he offered me the internship opportunity. They had nothing to do with my initial selection or the success of my project. But they exist now. Yes, they exist now." Chairman Park nods, as if she's just confirmed his worst suspicions. "And how do you believe the board will react when these photographs are presented at tomorrow's emergency meeting?" Michaela's heart sinks. "Emergency meeting?" Jin-woo steps forward. "Sang-min called it this morning, ostensibly to discuss maintaining corporate ethics and professional boundaries." The pieces fall into place with devastating clarity. The photographer, the strategic timing, the board meeting. This is orchestrated character assassination designed to destroy both her project and her relationship with Jin-woo. "What do you want from me?" Michaela asks directly. Chairman Park studies her for a long moment. "I want you to resign from your internship effective immediately. Issue a statement explaining that you're returning to your academic studies to focus on your education. Leave Korea quietly, and will ensure your exchange program continues without administrative complications. And if I refuse, then you'll face a board review that questions not only your professional ethics, but your visa status, your academic funding, and your future opportunities in Korea." His voice remains calm, but the threat is unmistakable. "I have no desire to destroy a young woman's career, Miss Bryant, but I will protect my family's interests." The room falls silent, except for the hum of air conditioning, and the distant sound of Seoul's morning traffic. Michaela feels like she's drowning, not just in consequences, but in the sudden understanding of how powerless she truly is in this world of wealth and influence. Can I have some time to think about it? You have until tomorrow morning. Michaela stands, her legs unsteady but her voice clear. Mr. Chairman, can I ask you one question? Of course. Do you believe my work has been valuable to this company? Chairman Park's expression softens almost imperceptibly. Your work has been exceptional. Under different circumstances, you would have a bright future here. But because I fell in love with your grandson, that future is impossible. Because you fell in love with my grandson, that future has become a liability we cannot afford. The distinction feels like a knife between her ribs. Michaela turns to Jinwoo, whose face reflects a mixture of rage and helplessness she's never seen before. Don't say anything, she tells him quietly. Not yet. Let me think about this. He nods, but she can see the struggle in his eyes, the desire to fight for her battling against the reality of what that fight would cost both of them. The walk back to the elevator feels endless. Other employees glance at her with expressions ranging from sympathy to curiosity to carefully concealed judgment. By now, rumors are probably spreading through every floor of the building. Sujin accompanies her down to the lobby, her silence more supportive than any words could be. It's only when they reach the street that she finally speaks. For what it's worth, I think what they're doing to you is wrong. Wrong but effective, Michaela replies. They've found the one thing that makes me vulnerable, and they're using it perfectly. What will you do? Michaela looks up at the Park Technologies building, at the windows of the 38th floor where Jinwoo is probably being lectured about corporate responsibility and family loyalty. I don't know yet, but I won't let them make me disappear without consequences. As she walks toward the subway station, Michaela's phone buzzes with a text message from an unknown number. Beautiful photos. Shame they had to be shared with the wrong people. Some secrets are worth protecting better than others. A concerned observer. The message makes her blood run cold. Someone orchestrated this entire situation, and they're still playing games with her future. What terrifies her most is the realization that falling in love with Jinwoo may have been exactly what someone wanted all along, the perfect weapon to destroy everything she's worked to build. But as Seoul rushes past the train windows, Michaela makes a decision that surprises her with its clarity. She won't run away quietly. If they want to destroy her relationship and her career, they'll have to do it in full view of everyone. Because some fights are worth having, even when you know you'll lose. The coffee shop near Seoul National University feels like neutral territory, far enough from Park Technologies to avoid corporate scrutiny, familiar enough to provide comfort in the midst of chaos. Michaela sits in a corner booth, staring at her untouched Americano while rain streaks the windows and matches her internal weather. Sarah slides into the seat across from her, bringing the energy of someone who's been conducting damage control for the past 6 hours. Okay, I have news. Good news and terrible news. Which do you want first? Terrible news. Let's get it over with. Sarah pulls out her phone and shows Michaela a screenshot from a prominent Korean business blog. The headline reads, Foreign Influence or Office Romance. Questions surround Park Technologies' international hiring practices. They didn't use the photos? Michaela asks, surprised. Not yet. But the story hints at inappropriate relationships between senior management and foreign interns, and questions whether international hiring represents a security risk. Sarah scrolls down to show her the comment section. The reactions are mixed. Michaela scans the comments, her Korean good enough to understand the range of responses. Some defend her right to workplace equality, others question whether foreign students should be given such prominent roles, and several make observations about her race that make her stomach clench. And the good news? The good news is that you have more allies than you realize. Sarah puts away her phone and leans forward conspiratorially. Sujin has been conducting her own investigation into who leaked those photos. Guess what she found? What? The photographer was hired by a private investigation firm that has Lee Sang-min as a client. This whole thing was orchestrated to undermine both you and Jinwoo. Despite everything, Michaela feels a surge of vindication. So, this was never about corporate ethics or professional boundaries. This was about removing you before your project could challenge too many traditional power structures. You were getting too influential, too successful, too visible. Michaela's phone buzzes with an incoming call. Jinwoo's name appears on the screen, but she hesitates before answering. "Are you going to talk to him?" Sarah asks. "I don't know what to say. His grandfather made it clear that continuing our relationship will destroy both our careers. And if you end it, then Sangmin wins. The project dies, I slink back to the United States with my tail between my legs, and nothing changes." Sarah reaches across the table and covers Michaela's hand with hers. "There's a third option, which is fight back, publicly. Make them justify their position instead of letting them control the narrative." The phone stops ringing, then immediately starts again. This time, Michaela answers. "Hello, Jinwoo. Where are you? We need to talk." His voice sounds strained, exhausted. She can imagine him in his office, fielding calls from board members and reporters while trying to figure out how to protect both her and his company. "I'm with Sarah, near campus. Can I come to you? I can't have this conversation at the office." Michaela looks at Sarah, who nods encouragingly. "Yes, but Jinwoo? Yeah? Whatever you're planning to do, make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. Don't sacrifice your company for me. My company isn't worth anything if I have to sacrifice you to keep it." The line goes quiet, as both of them process what he's just said. Finally, Michaela gives him the coffee shop's address and hangs up. "He's on his way," she tells Sarah. "Good. You two need to figure out whether you're going to face this together or separately, because hiding isn't working for either of you." 20 minutes later, Jinwoo enters the coffee shop, looking like he's aged 5 years in one day. His usually perfect hair is disheveled, his tie loosened, his expression carrying the weight of impossible decisions. He approaches their table cautiously, as if unsure of his welcome. "Mind if I sit?" Michaela gestures to the chair beside Sarah. "How bad is it at the office?" "Bad. 3 board members have called emergency meetings to discuss corporate governance and ethical oversight. The business blog story has been picked up by 2 major news outlets. And Sangmin is pushing for an immediate vote of no confidence in my leadership." Sarah leans forward. "What's your grandfather's position?" Jinwoo runs a hand through his hair. "Officially, he supports whatever's best for company stability. Unofficially, he's furious that I've put the family in this position." "And what do you think is best for company stability?" Michaela asks quietly. Jinwoo meets her eyes directly. "I think the best thing for company stability would be proving that our success comes from embracing talent, not excluding it based on politics or prejudice." "That's not what I asked." He's quiet for a moment, then reaches across the table to take her hand. "I think the best thing for company stability would be showing the world that Park Technologies stands behind its values even when it's difficult." The gesture is bold, holding her hand in public when their relationship is already under scrutiny. But it also feels like a declaration, a refusal to hide what he feels for her. "Jinwoo," Michaela says carefully, "I need you to understand something. If we continue this relationship, it will cost you. Maybe not immediately, but eventually. Board positions, business partnerships, social standing, all of it will be affected by your association with me. Do you think I don't know that? I think you haven't experienced it yet. I've been living with those costs my entire life. You haven't." Jinwoo's grip on her hand tightens. "Then teach me. Show me how to navigate a world that makes you choose between personal happiness and professional success." The request catches Michaela off guard. She's used to people who want her to adapt to their world, not people who want to learn to navigate hers. "It's not a lesson you can learn in theory," she warns. "Once you take this path, there's no going back to being the corporate prince who never had to prove he belonged." "Good. I'm tired of being that person anyway." Sarah, who has been watching this exchange with growing amazement, finally speaks up. "Are you two seriously talking about taking on one of Korea's most powerful business networks for the sake of your relationship?" "We're talking about taking them on for the sake of principles that should matter more than politics," Jinwoo corrects. "Michaela's relationship with me is just the catalyst." "Same thing. Sarah points out, and it's either incredibly romantic or completely insane. Why can't it be both? Michaela asks. As if summoned by their conversation, her phone buzzes with another anonymous message. Still time to leave quietly. Some battles can't be won, no matter how righteous the cause. Consider this friendly advice. She shows the message to Jin Woo and Sarah, both of whom react with expressions of anger and concern. They're escalating, Sarah observes. Anonymous threats usually mean someone's getting desperate. Jin Woo stands abruptly. That's it. I'm calling a press conference for tomorrow morning. Full disclosure about the project, the relationship, and the attempts to manipulate both. Jin Woo, wait. No more waiting. No more hiding. No more letting other people control our story. His eyes blaze with determination. If they want to fight, let's give them one they'll remember. Michaela looks at him. This man who's willing to risk everything he's built for a principle and a relationship he believes in, and realizes she's fallen in love not just with his success, but with his integrity. Okay, she says. Let's fight. But as they leave the coffee shop together, none of them notice the familiar figure watching from across the street, or the phone call that will ensure tomorrow's press conference becomes the battlefield where reputations, relationships, and futures will either be won or lost forever. The letter arrives at dawn, slipped under Michaela's dormitory door while Sol sleeps, and she stares at the ceiling, rehearsing arguments for the press conference that's scheduled to begin in 4 hours. The envelope is expensive paper, her name written in Jin Woo's careful handwriting, and her heart sinks before she even opens it. Michaela, by the time you read this, I'll be on a plane to Singapore. I've accepted a position with Park Technology's regional office there, a lateral move that the board has positioned as necessary for developing international market perspectives, but which we both know is exile. I'm not brave enough to face you with this decision, and I'm not strong enough to fight for us the way you deserve. This morning's emergency board meeting made it clear that continuing our relationship would destroy not just my career, but yours as well. Sangmin has threatened to have your visa revoked, your academic funding questioned, and your reputation damaged beyond repair. I thought I could protect you by fighting publicly, but I've learned that some battles only make the casualties worse. The press conference would have exposed you to scrutiny you didn't ask for, judgment you don't deserve, and consequences you shouldn't have to bear. You came to Korea to study international relations and build a career that changes the world. Don't let my cowardice derail that dream. The mobile app project will continue under your direction. I've arranged for full funding, a dedicated development team, and administrative support that bypasses traditional corporate hierarchy. It's not the collaboration we planned, but it's the innovation you envisioned. I'm sorry I'm not the man you believed I could be. I'm sorry I let them make me choose between you and everything else. And I'm sorry I chose wrong. Someday, when you're running international organizations and changing policies that affect millions of lives, I hope you'll remember that someone in Seoul believed in your vision enough to build a company around it, even if he wasn't brave enough to build a life around it. All my love and all my regrets. Jin Woo. The letter flutters to the floor as Michaela's hands start shaking. She reads it twice, 3 times, waiting for the words to change, for some hidden message to reveal that this is strategic rather than surrender. But there's no coded meaning, no secret plan, just a man who chose safety over courage when the stakes became too high. Her phone rings. Sarah's name appears on the screen. Michaela, have you seen the news? What news? Her voice sounds hollow, distant. Park Jin-woo is in Singapore. His assistant issued a statement about exploring regional partnerships, but everyone knows it's because of the scandal. Are you okay? Michaela stares at the letter, at Jin-woo's careful explanation of why loving her was too expensive for him to afford. I'm fine. You don't sound fine. I'm processing. There's a long pause. Do you want me to come over? No, I need to think. She hangs up and sits on her narrow dormitory bed, surrounded by the detritus of her Korean experience, textbooks on international trade, notes from her internship project, photos of Seoul adventures with Sarah, and now a farewell letter that reads like an obituary for everything she'd started to hope for. The press conference was supposed to happen in 3 hours. Reporters were expecting statements from both Jinwoo and Michaela about their relationship, their project, and their response to corporate pressure. Instead, they'll find one missing CEO and one abandoned intern trying to explain why innovation apparently wasn't worth fighting for after all. Her phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. Excellent decision by Mr. Park. Some complications resolve themselves when sensible people make sensible choices. Your cooperation in maintaining professional boundaries is appreciated. The message makes her stomach turn. Sang-min's victory is complete. He's eliminated both the relationship and Jinwoo's influence, leaving Michaela isolated and vulnerable. Worse, he's done it by making Jinwoo complicit in his own defeat. But as Michaela stares at the letter, she realizes something that surprises her. She's not just heartbroken. She's furious. Furious that Jinwoo abandoned their project and their relationship without consulting her. Furious that he made decisions about her future without including her in the conversation. Furious that he chose to protect her by eliminating himself rather than trusting her to fight alongside him. Most of all, she's furious that he's given Sang-min exactly what he wanted, proof that foreign talent can be intimidated into compliance when the pressure becomes uncomfortable. Her phone rings again. This time, it's Soo-jin. Michaela, I just heard about Jinwoo's transfer. Are you... I'm going to the press conference. What? But Jinwoo isn't here to... I'm going to the press conference, Michaela repeats, her voice growing stronger. With or without him. Michaela, that's not advisable. Without Jinwoo there to provide corporate support. Without Jinwoo there, I can tell the truth without worrying about protecting anyone else's interests. There's silence on the other end of the line. Finally, Soo-jin says, What truth? That this was never about corporate ethics or professional boundaries. This was about eliminating foreign influence before it could challenge traditional power structures. Michaela stands, pacing the small room. That Lee Sang-min orchestrated a character assassination campaign designed to drive me out before I could prove that diversity creates innovation, not threatens it. Michaela, if you go public with those accusations without evidence, then help me find evidence. You've been investigating the photographer, right? What else have you discovered? Soo-jin is quiet for a moment. When she speaks again, her voice is different, conspiratorial, determined. More than you might expect. Can you meet me at the coffee shop near your campus in an hour? Why? Because if you're serious about fighting back, you'll need ammunition. And I may have found something that changes everything. An hour later, Michaela sits across from Soo-jin in the same coffee shop where she'd received Jinwoo's business card weeks ago. The irony isn't lost on her. Returning to the place where this all began, now preparing to end it on her own terms. Soo-jin slides a manila folder across the table, her expression intense. Before you open that, I need you to understand something. Once you see what's inside, there's no going back. This information will destroy Lee Sang-min's career, but using it will also make you a permanent enemy of some very powerful people. Michaela's fingers trace the edge of the folder. What did you find? Evidence that Sang-min has been systematically sabotaging international partnerships to maintain control over traditional business networks. The photographer was just the tip of the iceberg. Soo-jin leans forward. He's been feeding negative stories about foreign employees to business journalists, pressuring visa authorities to create administrative delays for international talent, and using private investigators to gather blackmail material on anyone who threatens the status quo. How do you know all this? Because I've been documenting it for months. Every suspicious coincidence, every conveniently timed obstacle, every whisper campaign that mysteriously gained traction in the media. Soo-jin's eyes are bright with anger. I started investigating when I noticed the pattern, but I accelerated my efforts when he targeted you. Michaela opens the folder and finds a comprehensive dossier, bank records showing payments to private investigators, email threads discussing foreign talent concerns, recorded phone conversations where Sang-min explicitly strategizes about eliminating international competition. It's damning, detailed, and exactly the kind of evidence that could destroy a man's career. Soo-jin, this is incredible work. But why are you helping me? This could cost you your job. Because I'm tired of watching brilliant people be diminished by men who mistake xenophobia for patriotism. Soo-jin's voice is steady, resolute. And because someone needs to prove that Korea's future depends on embracing different perspectives, not excluding them. Michaela studies the documents, her mind racing. If I present this at the press conference, it won't just be about my relationship with Jinwoo anymore. It'll be about corporate corruption and systematic discrimination. Which is what it was always about. Your relationship was just the convenient excuse. Before Michaela can respond, her phone buzzes with an incoming call. Chairman Park's name appears on the screen, and her stomach drops. Answer it, Soo-jin says. But put it on speaker. Michaela accepts the call with trembling fingers. Mr. Chairman? Miss Bryant, I trust you've received my grandson's letter by now. Yes, sir. Good. Then you understand that certain adjustments have been made to ensure corporate stability. His voice is formal, businesslike. I'm calling to inform you that your internship will conclude today. We've arranged for a generous severance package and letters of recommendation that will serve you well in future endeavors. The dismissal lands like a slap. Mr. Chairman, with respect, I haven't resigned. No, but circumstances have made your continued employment untenable. I'm sure you understand. Michaela looks at Soo-jin, who nods encouragingly. Actually, sir, I don't understand. Could you explain exactly which circumstances make my excellent work performance untenable? There's a pause on the other end of the line. Miss Bryant, I appreciate your directness, but some situations are beyond individual control. Are they? Or are they the result of specific individuals making specific choices to preserve specific power structures? Another pause, longer this time. I'm not sure what you're implying. I'm not implying anything, Mr. Chairman. I'm stating directly that my employment termination has nothing to do with my work performance or my relationship with your grandson, and everything to do with external pressure designed to eliminate foreign influence from Korean corporate leadership. Soo-jin gives her a thumbs up, clearly impressed by her directness. Miss Bryant. Chairman Park's voice becomes softer, more personal. What is it you want from this conversation? The question catches her off guard. She expected continued corporate speak, not genuine inquiry. I want the truth, sir. And I want the chance to prove that innovation comes from embracing different perspectives, not excluding them because they challenge comfortable assumptions. There's a long silence. When Chairman Park speaks again, his tone has shifted completely. Miss Bryant, are you free this afternoon? I'd like to speak with you in person. Yes, sir. Good. Come to my private office at 3 o'clock. The address is... He provides directions to a location in Gangnam, different from the Park Technologies building. And Miss Bryant? Yes? Bring whatever evidence you have about external pressure affecting your employment. I'm very interested in understanding the full scope of the situation. The line goes dead. Michaela stares at her phone, unsure whether she's just been invited to a salvation or an execution. Did Chairman Park just ask to see your evidence against Sang-min? Soo-jin asks. I think so. Either he's planning to help you destroy Sang-min, or he's planning to destroy the evidence, and you along with it. Michaela considers the options. Only one way to find out. Are you sure about this? Chairman Park is legendary for his strategic thinking. He doesn't make moves unless he's already calculated all the outcomes. Then maybe it's time someone showed him an outcome he hasn't calculated. Michaela closes the folder and stands. Are you willing to come with me? To potentially throw away my career by confronting one of Korea's most powerful businessmen with evidence of corporate corruption? Soo-jin grins. Absolutely. As they leave the coffee shop, Michaela feels something she hasn't experienced since Jinwoo's departure. Hope. Not the romantic hope that had sustained her through their relationship, but something more powerful. The hope that comes from refusing to be diminished, even when the entire world seems designed to make you smaller. Chairman Park's private office is located in a building that speaks of old money and older power. Marble lobbies, traditional Korean artwork, and security that's both invisible and absolute. When they arrive at 3 o'clock, they're escorted to a conference room that overlooks Seoul's sprawling metropolis. Chairman Park enters alone, dressed in a charcoal suit that probably costs more than Michaela's annual tuition. But his expression isn't the cold business mask she expected. It's curious, almost respectful. Miss Bryant, Miss Min. He nods to both women. Thank you for coming. Please sit. They settle around a small conference table, and Chairman Park pours tea with the careful ritual of someone who understands that important conversations require proper preparation. Miss Bryant, my grandson believes he protected you by leaving Korea. Do you agree with his assessment? The question is direct, personal. No, sir. I believe he protected himself by avoiding a fight he wasn't sure he could win. And you? Are you sure you can win? Michaela meets his gaze directly. I'm sure I'd rather lose fighting for something meaningful than win by accepting something unjust. Chairman Park nods slowly. Show me what you've discovered. For the next hour, Michaela and Soo-jin present their evidence methodically. The photographs, the financial records, the documented pattern of Sang-min's interference. Chairman Park listens without interruption, occasionally asking for clarification, but never challenging their conclusions. When they finish, he sits back in his chair and studies them both. This is quite compelling, he says finally, and quite damaging to someone I've considered a trusted advisor. What will you do with it? Michaela asks. What would you do with it? The question forces her to articulate what she's been feeling. I'd use it to prove that Korean businesses become stronger by embracing international talent, not weaker by excluding it. I'd show that innovation requires diversity, and that anyone trying to prevent that diversity is actually weakening Korea's competitive position. Even if using this information destroys careers and relationships? Even then. Chairman Park nods thoughtfully. Miss Bryant, would you be surprised to learn that I've been conducting my own investigation into Lee Sang-min's activities? Michaela's heart skips. You have? For months. Your situation was simply the final piece of evidence I needed. He opens his own folder and slides documents across the table. Sang-min has been systematically undermining not just international hiring, but any initiative that threatened his influence over company decisions. Your project was threatening because it would have created networks he couldn't control. Then why didn't you stop him sooner? Because I needed him to reveal the full extent of his activities before I acted. In business, as in warfare, it's better to defeat an enemy completely than to simply inconvenience them. The implications sink in slowly. Are you saying you've been protecting me? I'm saying I've been investigating whether you were worth protecting. Your work performance suggested you were. Your response to adversity has confirmed it. Chairman Park stands and moves to the window overlooking Seoul. Miss Bryant, Park Technologies needs leaders who understand that Korea's future lies in global collaboration, not isolationism. The question is whether you're prepared to be one of those leaders. What do you mean? He turns back to face her. I mean, I'm offering you Jinwoo's position as head of international development. Full executive authority, competitive salary, and the resources to build programs that demonstrate how diversity drives innovation. The offer hits her like a physical force. Mr. Chairman, I'm a student. I'm 22 years old. I don't have the experience. You have something more valuable than experience. You have vision, courage, and the ability to see possibilities that others miss. His eyes hold hers. The question is whether you're brave enough to accept responsibilities that will make you a target for people who prefer the status quo. Michaela looks at Soo-jin, whose expression combines excitement and concern. This is everything she came to Korea hoping to find, and everything she never dared imagine was possible. What about Jinwoo? My grandson made his choice based on what he thought was best for everyone involved. You'll make yours based on what you think is right. Chairman Park returns to his seat. But understand this. If you accept this position, there will be no protected sanctuary. You'll face scrutiny, criticism, and attempts to undermine your authority. Are you prepared for that? Michaela thinks about the girl who walked into that auditorium weeks ago, determined not to be diminished by stares and whispers. She thinks about the woman who refused to let Professor Kim make her invisible, who built a project that challenged assumptions, who fell in love with someone brave enough to see her potential. Yes, sir, I'm prepared for that. Good. Chairman Park smiles for the first time since she's known him. Then welcome to Park Technologies, Executive Director Bryant. Your first task is presenting your strategic vision to the board of directors tomorrow morning. What about Sang-min? Mr. Lee will be tendering his resignation this afternoon. Personal reasons, of course. As they shake hands, sealing an agreement that will change the trajectory of her entire life, Michaela realizes that some battles are won not through confrontation, but through proving yourself worthy of victory. And sometimes the most powerful people are waiting to see if you're strong enough to deserve their support. But what she doesn't know is that across the city, Jin Woo is boarding a plane back from Singapore, having discovered that running away from love doesn't make the love disappear. It only makes the regret more painful. And by tomorrow morning, both of their worlds will shift again in ways neither of them anticipated. The Park Technologies boardroom has never felt more like a gladiatorial arena. Michaela stands at the head of the conference table, her presentation materials arranged with military precision, facing 12 board members who represent decades of Korean corporate tradition and billions of won in market influence. The morning light streaming through floor-to-ceiling windows casts everything in sharp relief, including the empty chair where Lee Sang-min should be sitting. Ladies and gentlemen, Chairman Park begins in Korean, his voice carrying the authority that built an empire. I'd like to introduce Executive Director Michaela Bryant, who will be presenting our new international development strategy. A ripple of surprise moves through the room. Several board members exchange glances. They'd expected a damage control session about the American intern scandal, not a promotion announcement for the woman at the center of it. Michaela steps forward, her hands steady despite the magnitude of the moment. For weeks, she's been the foreign student asking for opportunities. Today, she's the executive presenting strategic vision to people who can either make or destroy her career with a single vote. Honorable board members, she begins in flawless Korean, I stand before you not as an intern seeking approval, but as a leader presenting the future of Korean innovation. She clicks to her first slide, a graph showing Korea's declining market share in international technology sectors. Our competitors are not other Korean companies. They're global networks that leverage diverse talent to create breakthrough innovations. While we debate whether to include international perspectives, they're already building products that serve global markets. Board member Kim Yun-ho, a stern woman in her 60s, leans forward. Miss Bryant, your background is impressive, but what qualifies you to advise Korean corporations on international strategy? The challenge is direct, testing whether she'll defer to authority or claim her expertise. Michaela chooses to claim it. Mrs. Kim, my qualification is not my background, it's my results. In 3 months as an intern, I designed a platform that connected international students with Korean professionals, generating 12,000 user registrations and establishing partnerships with 5 major universities. That wasn't theory. That was innovation that worked. She clicks to the next slide, showing user data and engagement metrics that make several board members sit up straighter. But more importantly, my qualification is my perspective. I understand both the challenges international talent faces in Korean markets and the opportunities Korean companies miss when they exclude that talent. Board member Park Dong-il, a younger man who built his reputation in tech startups, raises his hand. What specifically are you proposing? Michaela advances to her strategic overview. A comprehensive international talent development program with 3 components. First, structured mentorship connecting Korean executives with international professionals. Second, cross-cultural innovation labs where diverse teams tackle market-specific challenges. Third, leadership exchange programs that send Korean managers to international markets while bringing international executives to Seoul. And the return on investment? Asks Mrs. Kim. Conservative projections show 30% revenue growth in international markets within 2 years, based on improved product localization and expanded market penetration. Michaela clicks to financial projections. More aggressive projections, if we fully embrace innovative approaches, show 60% growth. The room falls silent as board members study the numbers. These aren't feel-good diversity initiatives. They're strategic business propositions backed by data. But before anyone can respond, the conference room doors open, and a figure enters that makes Michaela's heart stop. Jin Woo walks in, travel-worn but determined, still carrying the weight of Singapore humidity and 36 hours without sleep. His eyes find hers across the room, and she sees something she didn't expect. Pride, admiration, and an apology that speaks louder than words. "Mr. Park," Chairman Park says without missing a beat. "How good of you to join us." Miss Bryant was just presenting her strategic vision for international development. Jinwoo takes the empty seat at the far end of the table, never breaking eye contact with Michaela. "Please continue, Executive Director Bryant." The title sounds different in his voice. Not patronizing or strategic, but respectful, genuine. He's acknowledging not just her promotion, but her authority. Michaela takes a steadying breath and continues her presentation. But now she's performing for an audience of 1 as much as 12. Every strategic point becomes a declaration of the vision she'd hoped to build with him. Every innovative proposal becomes evidence of the partnership he'd abandoned. "The key insight," she explains, "is that innovation doesn't come from homogeneous teams solving problems they all understand the same way. Innovation comes from diverse perspectives collaborating to find solutions none of them could discover alone." Jinwoo nods, and she realizes he's not just listening to her business strategy. He's hearing her explanation of why their relationship mattered, why their different backgrounds created something more powerful than either of them could achieve separately. "Questions?" Chairman Park asks when she finishes. Mrs. Kim speaks first. "Miss Bryant, this is impressive work. But implementing these programs would require significant cultural shifts within our corporate structure. Are Korean companies ready for that level of change?" "With respect, Mrs. Kim, the question isn't whether Korean companies are ready for change. The question is whether they're ready to be left behind by companies that embrace change first." Park Dong-il laughs, a sound of genuine appreciation. "Bold answer. I like it." The discussion continues for 20 minutes, with board members probing financial projections, implementation timelines, and cultural integration strategies. Michaela answers each question with confidence that surprises even her, drawing on research she'd conducted, insights from her user interviews, and strategic thinking that proves she's ready for executive responsibility. Finally, Chairman Park calls for a vote. All in favor of approving Executive Director Bryant's international development strategy and her leadership of these initiatives. Hands rise around the table, slowly at first, then with growing momentum. When the count is finished, the vote is 10-2 in favor. "Congratulations, Executive Director Bryant," Chairman Park says. "You now have the authority and resources to prove that innovation comes from embracing diversity, not excluding it." As board members file out, offering congratulations and strategic suggestions, Jinwoo remains seated at the far end of the table. When the room finally empties except for the two of them, the silence becomes profound. "That was incredible," he says finally. "Thank you." "I mean it, Michaela. Watching you command that room, present that vision, earn their respect. It reminded me why I fell in love with you in the first place. The past tense stings. Fell in love. Not fall in love." Jinwoo stands and moves closer, but maintains respectful distance. "I came back because I realized something in Singapore. Running away from what scared me didn't make the fear disappear. It just made me a coward who abandoned the person I care about most when she needed support. I didn't need support, Jinwoo. I needed partnership. I needed someone who believed in us enough to fight alongside me, not someone who decided to protect me by disappearing. You're right, and I'm sorry." The apology hangs between them, sincere but incomplete. Michaela studies his face, the exhaustion, the regret, the hope he's trying to suppress. "What do you want from me?" she asks. "I want to earn back your trust. I want to prove that I'm the man you believed I could be, not the coward I became when the pressure got too intense." "And how do you plan to do that?" Jinwoo pulls an envelope from his jacket, different from the farewell letter. This one sealed with his company's logo. "My formal resignation from Park Technology's Singapore office and my application to work under your authority as part of the international development team." Michaela stares at the envelope, understanding its significance. "You want to work for me?" "I want to work with you. As equals this time, not as CEO and intern. As partners building something meaningful." The offer is everything she'd hoped for weeks ago, but coming now, after his abandonment and her independent success, it feels complicated. "Jinwoo, I don't need you anymore. Not professionally. I've proven I can build this vision without your support." "I know." That's what makes me want to be part of it even more. She takes the envelope, feeling its weight. If I accept this, you'll report to me. Follow my strategic direction. Accept my authority over projects you used to control. Yes. And our personal relationship will be whatever you decide it should be. I forfeited the right to expectations when I chose to run instead of fight. Michaela looks out the conference room windows at Seoul's bustling landscape, the city where she'd arrived as an uncertain exchange student and was now departing as a corporate executive. The transformation feels impossible and inevitable simultaneously. I'll consider your application, she says finally. But Jinwoo? Yeah? If we do this, we do it right. No special treatment because of our history. No corporate politics because of family connections. No running away when things get difficult. Understood. And no assumptions about what our personal relationship becomes. We'll rebuild that from scratch if we rebuild it at all. Jinwoo nods, hope and uncertainty warring in his expression. I understand. And Michaela? What? I'm proud of you. For fighting when I ran. For succeeding when I doubted. For becoming the leader I always knew you could be. As she walks out of the conference room, her conference room now, Michaela realizes that some stories don't end with reunion and reconciliation. Sometimes they end with transformation, growth, and the understanding that love isn't about finding someone to complete you, but about becoming complete enough to choose your own future. 6 months later, the Park Technologies International Development floor buzzes with an energy that would have been unimaginable when Michaela first walked into the building. Teams of Korean and international professionals collaborate at standing desks, conduct video conferences with partners across 5 continents, and prototype solutions for markets from São Paulo to Stockholm. Michaela's office, the one that used to belong to a senior vice president who retired shortly after her promotion, overlooks Seoul's transformed skyline. But this morning, she's not admiring the view. She's preparing for the quarterly board presentation that will determine whether her programs receive expanded funding or face budget cuts that could cripple everything she's built. A soft knock interrupts her preparation. Jinwoo enters carrying 2 cups of coffee and wearing the slightly nervous expression that's become familiar over the past months of working together. Americano, black, he says, setting the cup on her desk. Thought you might need caffeine before facing the board. Thank you. She accepts the coffee gratefully. How are the Singapore market projections looking? Better than expected. The Korean international partnership model we tested there generated 43% more revenue than traditional approaches. Jinwoo settles into the chair across from her desk, a position that would have felt strange months ago, but now seems natural. Mrs. Kim is going to love those numbers. Their working relationship has evolved into something neither of them anticipated. Genuine partnership built on mutual respect, rather than romantic attraction. Jinwoo proved himself willing to follow her strategic vision, accept her authority, and contribute expertise without attempting to reclaim leadership. Michaela discovered that his business acumen complemented her innovative thinking in ways that made both of them more effective. And personally, she asks, studying his face, how are you feeling about today? It's a question that acknowledges the complexity of their situation. The board presentation will include recommendations for expanding internationally, which means Jinwoo might be offered leadership of overseas operations. An opportunity that could physically separate them just as they've learned to work together successfully. Honestly, conflicted. Jinwoo meets her eyes directly. The Singapore position would be incredible for my career. But it would also mean leaving just as we figured out how to be partners without all the emotional complications. Who says the emotional complications have disappeared? The question slips out before Michaela can stop it, revealing feelings she's been carefully managing for months. Their relationship has been strictly professional by mutual agreement, but the attraction and affection that drew them together hasn't disappeared. It's just been channeled into collaboration rather than romance. Jinwoo sets down his coffee cup, his expression growing more serious. Michaela, can I ask you something directly? Of course. Do you think there's a future for us? Not professionally, that's clearly working, but personally, as people who care about each other beyond business objectives. The question she's been avoiding for 6 months finally hangs in the air between them. During their professional rebuilding, they've become friends, collaborators, and something deeper that neither has been brave enough to name. I don't know, she answers honestly. 6 months ago, I would have said yes without hesitation. But I've changed since then. I've discovered I don't need a relationship to feel complete, and I won't accept one that requires me to diminish myself to make someone else comfortable. I would never ask you to diminish yourself. You wouldn't ask directly. But would you be able to handle dating your boss? Would you be comfortable with me earning more, having more authority, being the primary decision maker in our professional lives? Jinwoo considers the question seriously, rather than offering easy reassurances. Honestly, it would take adjustment. I was raised in a culture that taught me to be the provider, the leader, the one who makes major decisions. But watching you succeed these past months has shown me that leadership isn't about control. It's about creating conditions where everyone can contribute their best work. That's a beautiful theory. But theories get tested when egos are challenged. Before Jinwoo can respond, Soo-jin appears in the doorway with an expression that suggests urgent news. Michaela, sorry to interrupt, but you need to see this immediately. She hands over a tablet displaying a major Korean business publication. The headline reads, Park Technology's International Success Story, How American Executive Director Transformed Corporate Culture. Michaela scans the article quickly, her eyes widening as she reads. The piece isn't just about her professional success. It's a comprehensive analysis of how her programs have improved company performance, attracted international talent, and positioned Park Technologies as a leader in global innovation. This is, she starts, front page of the most influential business magazine in Korea, Soo-jin finishes. Complete with interviews from board members praising your strategic vision, data showing improved market performance, and a photograph of you leading a meeting with the headline, The Future of Korean Business. Jinwoo leans over to read the article, his expression shifting from concern to amazement. Michaela, this isn't just good press. This is validation from the most traditional elements of Korean business culture that your approach works. Which means, she asks, though she's beginning to understand the implications. Which means you're not just successful, you're influential. You're changing how Korea thinks about international collaboration, corporate leadership, and innovation strategy. Soo-jin grins. You've become exactly what you came here hoping to become. The realization hits Michaela with unexpected force. 6 months ago, she was fighting for basic respect and professional opportunities. Today, she's being recognized as a leader who's transforming corporate culture in one of the world's most traditional business environments. Her phone buzzes with a message from Chairman Park. Outstanding press coverage. The board is very pleased. We should discuss expanded responsibilities and long-term strategic planning. I need to think, Michaela says, standing and moving to the window. Seoul stretches out below her, the city where she'd arrived alone and uncertain, now the place where she's built something meaningful and lasting. Jinwoo joins her at the window, maintaining respectful distance but offering silent support. What are you thinking? He asks. I'm thinking that when I came to Korea, I was looking for opportunities to prove myself, but I've discovered something more important. I've learned to create opportunities for other people to prove themselves too. And maybe that's what love should be like as well. Not two people trying to prove they're worthy of each other, but two people creating conditions where both can become their best selves. Jinwoo turns to face her directly. Are you saying what I think you're saying? I'm saying that if you're offered the Singapore position, you should take it. Build something amazing there, using everything we've learned about international collaboration. Michaela meets his eyes. And I'm saying that when you come back to Seoul for quarterly reports, maybe we can have dinner together, as equals, as partners, as people who care enough about each other to support individual growth, rather than demanding sacrifice for togetherness. And if I said I'd rather stay here and keep working with you, I'd say that's the wrong reason to make a career decision. Choose Singapore because it's right for your professional development, not because you're afraid of long-distance complications. Jinwoo smiles, the first genuinely relaxed expression she's seen from him in months. You realize you're basically telling me to leave you so that we might have a better chance at a future together. I'm telling you to trust that if what we have is real, it can survive some geographic distance and professional independence. Before he can respond, Sarah bursts through the office door with characteristic enthusiasm and zero regard for corporate protocol. "Oh my God, Michaela, did you see the magazine article? You're famous. You're like the poster child for international success in Korean business." She stops mid-celebration when she notices Jin-woo. "Oh, hi. This is awkward." "It's fine, Sarah. Jin-woo and I were just discussing future plans." Sarah looks between them with the expression of someone trying to decode complex interpersonal dynamics. Good future plans or complicated future plans? "Both." Michaela and Jin-woo answer simultaneously, then laugh at their synchronicity. The board presentation that afternoon goes even better than projected. Mrs. Kim announces that the International Development Division will receive doubled funding for the next fiscal year. Chairman Park formally offers Jin-woo the leadership position for Southeast Asian operations, with full autonomy to implement the collaboration model they've developed in Seoul. And at the end of the meeting, as board members file out discussing expansion strategies and market opportunities, Jin-woo approaches Michaela with an expression of wonder and determination. "Executive Director Bryant," he says formally, "I'm honored to accept the Singapore position. And I'm even more honored that when I return to Seoul for quarterly reports, I'll have the opportunity to learn from the most innovative leader in Korean business. Is that your professional assessment, Mr. Park?" "That's my professional assessment, and my personal opinion." They shake hands, a gesture that acknowledges their professional partnership and hints at personal possibilities that will unfold in their own time, on their own terms. 6 months ago, Michaela Bryant arrived in Seoul as a foreign exchange student, hoping to prove she belonged. Today, she's an executive director who's proven that belonging isn't about adapting to existing structures. It's about creating new structures where everyone can contribute their unique strengths. And sometimes the most beautiful love stories aren't about finding someone to complete you, but about becoming complete enough to choose love from a position of strength rather than need. 1 year later, Seoul's autumn air carries the same crisp promise that had welcomed Michaela on her first day at Seoul National University. But now she stands in Park Technology's newest conference room, watching teams of international and Korean professionals prepare for the company's largest client presentation in its history. The mobile app that started as her internship project has evolved into a comprehensive platform, serving 2 million users across 12 countries. The cultural exchange program has been licensed to universities throughout Asia, and the innovation labs she designed have generated patents worth hundreds of millions of won. But today isn't about business metrics. Today is about something more personal. "Are you nervous?" Sarah asks, adjusting the traditional hanbok she's wearing for the ceremony. As Michaela's maid of honor, or rather, as she prefers to call it, chief celebration coordinator, Sarah has taken her responsibilities seriously. Surprisingly, no. Michaela smooths the silk of her own hanbok, a stunning cream and gold creation that honors both Korean tradition and her own aesthetic preferences. "I thought I would be, but I just feel ready." Through the conference room windows, she can see Jin-woo in the garden below, greeting guests who've traveled from around the world to witness this moment. Her parents flew in from Chicago, his family gathered from across Korea, and colleagues from 5 countries have come to celebrate not just a wedding, but the union of 2 people who learned to build love on a foundation of mutual respect and shared vision. The ceremony will blend Korean and American traditions, a hanbok wedding in a Seoul garden, followed by reception dancing that would make her Chicago cousins proud. More importantly, it will represent the integration of 2 lives that have learned to support each other's individual growth, rather than requiring sacrifice for togetherness. 5 minutes, Soo-jin announces, entering the room in her role as wedding coordinator. Over the past year, she's become not just Michaela's colleague, but one of her closest friends, someone who understood both the professional and personal journey that led to this moment. Michaela's phone buzzes with a text from Jin-woo. "Ready to become partners in everything, not just business?" She responds, "Ready to prove that the best partnerships are between people who choose each other from positions of strength." "I love your corporate strategic thinking, Executive Director Park. I love your willingness to take direction, Director of International Operations Park." The playful exchange reflects how their relationship has evolved. Jinwoo's 2 years in Singapore were professionally transformative. He built Park Technology's Southeast Asian operations into the company's fastest-growing division. But more importantly, the distance taught them that their connection was strong enough to survive independence, secure enough to embrace individual success, and mature enough to prioritize partnership over possession. When he returned to Seoul 6 months ago, they approached their reunion like the business leaders they'd become, with strategic planning, clear communication, and mutual accountability. Their first dinner was a 4-hour conversation about career goals, family expectations, and the kind of marriage they wanted to build. Their engagement was a joint decision based on shared values and complementary strengths, rather than romantic desperation. "It's time," Chairman Park announces, entering the room with the dignity of a man who's witnessing his grandson marry someone he genuinely respects and admires. The ceremony takes place in Park Technology's rooftop garden, transformed for the occasion with traditional Korean decorations and flowers that bloom in Seoul's autumn climate. 100 guests, family, friends, colleagues, and business partners, gather to witness vows that acknowledge both love and professional partnership. Michaela walks down the aisle alone, having politely declined her father's offer to give her away, with the explanation that she's giving herself, having earned the right to make her own choices about her future. The symbolism isn't lost on anyone present. This is a woman who claimed her own agency, and is now choosing to share it with someone worthy of the privilege. Jinwoo waits at the altar wearing traditional Korean groom's attire, his expression reflecting wonder that someone he admires so completely has chosen to build a life with him. When she reaches him, he takes her hands with reverence that acknowledges both the love between them and the professional partnership they've created. The officiating minister speaks in both Korean and English, honoring both cultures represented in their union. But the moment that moves everyone present is when they exchange vows they've written themselves. "Jinwoo," Michaela begins, her voice steady and clear. "I promise to support your dreams without sacrificing my own, to build a partnership based on equality rather than hierarchy, and to love you not because I need you, but because I choose you daily from a position of completeness." "Michaela," Jinwoo responds, "I promise to celebrate your success without feeling diminished, to support your leadership without expecting subservience, and to prove that the strongest marriages are between people who make each other more themselves, not less." The vows capture something revolutionary in Korean society, a marriage contract based on mutual empowerment rather than traditional gender roles, professional equality rather than financial dependency, and love that enhances rather than limits individual potential. When they kiss to seal their union, the applause comes from hearts that have witnessed not just a wedding, but a demonstration that love can evolve beyond cultural expectations to create something genuinely innovative. The reception continues late into the evening, with speeches that celebrate both their professional accomplishments and personal journey. Michaela's father toasts, "A daughter who taught us that success isn't about fitting into existing spaces, but creating new ones." Chairman Park acknowledges, "A granddaughter-in-law who proved that innovation comes from embracing difference rather than eliminating it." But the moment that defines the evening comes when Sarah takes the microphone for her maid of honor speech. "I met Michaela when she was a foreign exchange student who thought she just needed to survive Korean academia," Sarah begins. "I watched her fall in love with someone who challenged her intellectually and supported her ambitions. I saw her build a career that changed how Korean businesses think about international collaboration. And through it all, she's remained the same person. Someone who refuses to be diminished, who believes in creating opportunities for others, and who proves that the best love stories aren't about finding someone to complete you, but about finding someone worth becoming your best self with." The speech receives a standing ovation, but what moves Michaela most is seeing her grandmother's ring on her finger, the golden symbol of ancestral strength that has evolved into a representation of the family she's chosen and the legacy she's building. Later that night, as Seoul's lights twinkle outside their honeymoon suite, Michaela and Jinwoo sit on the balcony, sharing a bottle of champagne and processing the magnitude of what they've created together. "Do you ever think about that first day you saw me in the auditorium?" Michaela asks. "Every day. You walked in like you owned the world, even when the world was trying to prove you didn't belong. What did you think would happen?" Jin-woo considers the question seriously. Honestly, I thought I'd offer you a job. You'd work for a semester, and we'd both have an interesting professional experience. I never imagined we'd fall in love, fight corporate corruption, transform international business practices, and end up married in a ceremony that represents everything we believe about equality and partnership. Life gets complicated when you refuse to accept limitations. The best kind of complicated. They sit in comfortable silence, watching Seoul pulse with energy around them. Tomorrow, they'll return to work. Michaela as Executive Director of International Development, Jin-woo as Director of Southeast Asian Operations, both continuing to build innovations that prove diversity creates strength rather than weakness. But tonight, they're simply two people who found each other across cultural differences, fought for love despite institutional pressure, and proved that the most beautiful marriages are between partners who choose each other daily from positions of individual completeness. The rain that had marked so many crucial moments in their relationship begins to fall softly outside their window, and Michaela realizes it no longer feels like a storm to weather. Instead, it feels like renewal, the promise that growth never stops, love never becomes static, and the best stories are the ones where characters become more themselves, rather than less. In Seoul's autumn rain, Michaela Bryant Park closes her eyes and listens to the sound of everything she never dared dream of becoming exactly what she was meant to be. 5 years have passed since that first encounter in Seoul National University's auditorium, and spring has returned to Seoul with the promise of new beginnings. Cherry blossoms drift like snow through Namsan Park, where Michaela and Jin-woo walk with their 3-year-old daughter, Min-jung, whose Korean-American features reflect the beautiful complexity of her heritage. "Yama, why are the flowers falling?" Min-jung asks in the fluid bilingual switching that has become natural in their household. "Because beautiful things aren't meant to last forever, baby," Michaela explains, kneeling to catch a blossom in her palm. "They're meant to be perfect for exactly as long as they need to be, and then make room for new beautiful things." Jin-woo smiles at the exchange, recognizing in his wife's words the philosophy that has guided their journey from individual ambition to shared purpose. Over the past 5 years, they've built not just a marriage but a legacy, professional innovations that have transformed Korean business culture, and a family that represents the future of multicultural Korea. Park Technologies now operates in 23 countries, with international development programs that have become the industry standard for cultural integration and innovative collaboration. Michaela's leadership model, emphasizing equity, diverse perspectives, and mutual empowerment, has been studied by business schools across 3 continents. But today's walk through the cherry blossoms isn't about business success. It's about a different kind of achievement, the announcement they received this morning that will change their family dynamics in the most wonderful way possible. "Jin-woo," Michaela says as Min-jung chases fallen petals across the park path. "Are you ready to tell her? Are you sure this is the right moment?" Michaela places his hand on her still flat stomach, where their second child grows with the quiet miracle of new life. Spring seems appropriate for new beginnings. Jin-woo's eyes fill with emotion, not just about the pregnancy, but about everything it represents. Their first child was a conscious decision made from positions of professional stability and personal maturity. This second pregnancy feels like a celebration of the life they've built together, proof that love can expand without anyone becoming smaller. "Min-jung-ah," Jin-woo calls to their daughter, who's now constructing elaborate patterns with cherry blossom petals. "Come here. Yama and Appa have something exciting to tell you." Min-jung races back to them with the unself-conscious enthusiasm of a child who's never doubted her place in the world. Growing up bilingual and bicultural, surrounded by parents who celebrate differences rather than minimize them, she embodies the future Michaela had envisioned when she first arrived in Korea. "You're going to be a big sister," Michaela announces, watching her daughter's face process this information. "Really? When?" "In about 6 months, right around your 4th birthday." Min-jung considers this seriously, then breaks into the kind of smile that makes everything else worthwhile. "Will the baby speak Korean and English too?" "Yes, sweetheart. Just like you." "And will the baby work at Appa and Yama's company?" Jin-woo laughs. "Maybe someday, if that's what the baby wants to do. But first, the baby has to grow up and discover what makes them happy." The conversation reflects the parenting philosophy they've developed, encouraging their children to embrace their multicultural heritage while supporting their individual interests and abilities. Min Jung attends a bilingual preschool where Korean and American children learn together, plays with friends whose families represent a dozen different cultures, and grows up understanding that difference is strength rather than division. As they continue walking through the park, Michaela's phone buzzes with a message from Sarah, who's now married to a fellow Korean American and living in Busan with their twin boys. Just saw the business magazine article about your UNESCO appointment. So proud. When do you start? The UNESCO position, Director of International Cultural Exchange and Innovation, represents the culmination of everything Michaela has worked toward. Based in Paris, but with frequent travel to Seoul, it will allow her to expand her vision of cultural collaboration from corporate settings to global policymaking. Next month, Jinwoo's taking over my Park Technologies responsibilities while managing his own portfolio. We're about to become a very busy family, and a very accomplished one. Min Jung is lucky to have parents who show her that marriage can make both people more powerful, not less. The observation captures something essential about their relationship. Unlike traditional models where one spouse's success required the other's sacrifice, they've created a partnership where individual achievements enhance their collective strength. "What are you thinking about?" Jinwoo asks, noticing her contemplative expression. "I'm thinking about that girl who walked into SNU 5 years ago, convinced she had to prove herself worthy of opportunities she'd already earned. And I'm grateful she was stubborn enough to keep fighting, even when the world tried to convince her to disappear." They pause at their favorite spot in the park, a bench overlooking Seoul's skyline, where they used to meet during their early dating days when their relationship was still navigating corporate politics and cultural expectations. The view has changed as Seoul has grown and modernized, but the sense of possibility remains constant. Min Jung climbs onto Michaela's lap, careful of her mother's stomach, despite not yet understanding the full implications of pregnancy. "Yama, will you tell me the story?" she asks. "Which story, baby?" "The story about how you and Appa met and changed everything." It's Min Jung's favorite bedtime story, though she's heard it dozens of times. The tale of her parents' courtship has become family mythology, a narrative about courage, love, and the power of refusing to accept limitations. "Well," Michaela begins, "once upon a time there was a young woman who traveled far from home to learn about the world. And there was a young man who had built something wonderful, but wasn't sure how to make it even more wonderful. And then what happened? They met during a rainstorm, and they discovered that when different kinds of people work together with respect and care, they can create beautiful things that neither could build alone. Like me? Exactly like you. And like your little brother or sister who's growing in Iyama's tummy. And like Appa's company. And like everything good that happens when people choose to see differences as gifts instead of problems." Jinwoo adds to the story, as he always does. "And they learned that the best love stories aren't about people who complete each other, but about people who help each other become more completely themselves." "I like that story," Min Jung declares, settling more comfortably against her mother. As the sun sets over Seoul, casting golden light through the cherry blossom branches, Michaela reflects on the journey that brought them to this moment. The girl who arrived in Korea seeking validation has become a woman who creates opportunities for others. The relationship that began with corporate complications has evolved into a marriage that demonstrates equity in action. The dreams she never dared articulate have become realities that exceed her wildest imagination. The cherry blossoms continue to fall as the Park family makes their way back through Seoul's bustling streets, Min Jung skipping between her parents while collecting petals in her small hands. The city pulses around them with the energy of evening rush hour, but their conversation remains focused on the future they're building together. "Yama," Min Jung says, tugging on Michaela's coat, "when you go to Paris for work, will you bring me back stories?" "Of course, sweetheart. Stories about all the different people I meet and the beautiful places I see." Michaela adjusts her daughter's small backpack. "But most importantly, I'll bring back ideas about how to make the world a better place for children like you and your little sibling." The UNESCO position represents more than career advancement. It's an opportunity to influence global policy on cultural exchange and international education. Michaela will spend half her time in Paris developing programs that connect young people across continents, and half in Seoul, implementing pilot initiatives that demonstrate how diversity drives innovation. Jin Woo, meanwhile, has accepted the role of Chief Executive Officer at Park Technologies, a promotion that represents both personal achievement and institutional recognition that leadership comes in many forms. His management philosophy, learned through years of working alongside Michaela, emphasizes collaborative decision-making and inclusive innovation. "Are you nervous about being CEO?" Michaela asks as they wait for the traffic light to change. "Terrified," Jin Woo admits with a laugh, but also excited. The board's support for our international development model shows that Korean business culture is evolving. We have the chance to prove that inclusive leadership creates stronger companies. And if anyone doubts whether you're ready for the responsibility, then I'll remind them that the best leaders are the ones who learn to follow before they learn to lead. The comment reflects how their relationship has changed both of them. Jin Woo's willingness to work under Michaela's authority taught him that leadership isn't about control. It's about creating conditions where everyone can contribute their best work. Michaela's experience managing diverse teams showed her that innovation requires both vision and collaboration. They reach their apartment building, a modern complex in Gangnam that provides easy access to both Park Technologies and the international schools Min-jung will attend as she grows older. The space reflects their bicultural family, Korean traditional elements blended with contemporary design, artwork from both their backgrounds, and children's books in multiple languages scattered throughout every room. As Jin Woo helps Min-jung wash her hands before dinner, Michaela steps onto their balcony to watch Seoul's lights begin to twinkle across the urban landscape. Her phone buzzes with a message from Chairman Park, now 81, and preparing to transition fully into an advisory role. "Congratulations on the UNESCO appointment. Your grandmother would be proud to see how you've honored her legacy while creating your own." The reference to her grandmother's ring, still worn on Michaela's index finger, brings tears to her eyes. The golden band that once symbolized survival and resilience now represents transformation and possibility. She's become the kind of woman her grandmother dreamed of: educated, independent, influential, and strong enough to build love that enhances rather than diminishes her power. "Dinner's ready," Jin Woo calls from the kitchen, where he's been preparing Korean-style pasta, one of Min-jung's favorite fusion dishes that somehow captures their family's multicultural identity. As they gather around the table, Min-jung chatters about her day at preschool, seamlessly switching between Korean and English while describing the art project she made for her teacher. Her comfort with bilingual communication represents something revolutionary in Korean society: a generation of children who see multiple languages and cultures as natural rather than foreign. "Appa, will you teach the baby to cook like you taught me?" Min-jung asks, carefully twirling noodles around her fork. "Absolutely. Cooking is one of the best ways to learn about different cultures. And Iyama will teach the baby about other countries?" "That's right, sweetheart. The baby will grow up understanding that the world is full of different kinds of people, and that difference makes everything more interesting." After dinner, they follow their evening routine: Min-jung's bath, pajamas, and bedtime story. Tonight, she requests a new tale about a little girl who travels to France to help children from different countries become friends. As Michaela improvises the story, she realizes she's describing her own future work, reimagined for a 3-year-old's understanding. When Min-jung finally falls asleep, Michaela and Jin Woo settle on their living room couch to discuss practical arrangements for the coming months. The conversation covers childcare logistics, travel schedules, and professional responsibilities, but underneath the practical details runs a deeper current of mutual support and shared vision. "Are you sure you're comfortable with me traveling so much during the pregnancy?" Michaela asks, resting her head against Jin Woo's shoulder. "Are you sure you're comfortable with me running the company while you're establishing international programs?" They laugh at their synchronized concerns. Two people who've learned to share not just dreams, but anxieties, responsibilities, and the daily work of building something meaningful together. "You know what I love most about our story?" Jin Woo says, stroking her hair. "What?" "It's not finished yet. 5 years ago, we were just two people trying to figure out how to build careers and maybe fall in love. Now we're partners creating changes that will affect thousands of people, raising children who'll grow up with a completely different understanding of what's possible, and still discovering new things about each other every day. Michaela thinks about his observation as Seoul settles into nighttime quiet around them. Their story began with a foreign student seeking opportunities and a young CEO questioning assumptions. It's evolved into something more complex and beautiful, a partnership that demonstrates how love can be both personal fulfillment and social transformation. The cherry blossoms they collected during their walk sit in a simple vase on their coffee table, already beginning to brown at the edges. By tomorrow, they'll have wilted completely. But their brief perfection has created memories that will last a lifetime. Jinwoo, Michaela says softly, do you ever wonder what would have happened if we'd never met? Sometimes. But then I remember that the best stories aren't about what might have been. They're about what actually happened when two people were brave enough to choose each other, again and again, despite all the reasons why it should have been impossible. Oem, who'd arrived in Korea 5 years ago, but a woman who'd learned to claim her own power, build her own opportunities, and choose love that makes her larger rather than smaller. Tomorrow will bring new challenges: UNESCO meetings, corporate strategy sessions, pregnancy appointments, and the endless logistics of managing international careers while raising a family. But tonight, surrounded by the evidence of everything they've built together, Michaela Park feels the deep satisfaction of a life lived with intention, courage, and love that grows stronger with each choice to keep choosing each other. The rain that had marked so many crucial moments in their relationship begins to fall softly against their bedroom windows, but it no longer sounds like a storm to weather. Instead, it sounds like renewal, the promise that growth never stops, love never becomes static, and the most beautiful stories are the ones where characters become more themselves rather than less. In Seoul's spring rain, Michaela Bryant Park closes her eyes and listens to the sound of everything she never dared dream becoming exactly what she was meant to be. Monepilogue, the echo returns. 10 years later, the Seoul National University Auditorium looks exactly the same as it did on that rainy autumn day when everything began. The same wooden doors, the same fluorescent lights, the same rows of seats where 200 students once watched a young black woman refuse to be diminished by their stares. But today, the auditorium fills with different energy. International students, Korean professors, business leaders, and government officials gather to attend the Global Innovation Through Cultural Collaboration Symposium, an annual event that has become one of Asia's most prestigious international education conferences. Michaela Park, now 32, and serving her second term as UNESCO's Director of International Cultural Exchange, stands at the same podium where Professor Kim once questioned her place in Korean academia. Her 7-year-old daughter, Min Jung, sits in the front row beside her 4-year-old brother, Jin Ho, both watching their mother with the casual pride of children who've grown up understanding that their Iyama changes the world for a living. 10 years ago, Michaela begins, her voice carrying easily through the auditorium. I stood in this room as a foreign exchange student who thought she had to prove her worth to earn opportunities she'd already qualified for. Today I stand here as someone who's learned that the most powerful changes happen when we stop asking people to prove they belong and start creating conditions where everyone can contribute their unique strengths. The audience, now diverse in ways that would have been unimaginable a decade ago, responds with applause that acknowledges not just her words, but the transformation she represents. In the back of the auditorium, Professor Kim sits with several of his colleagues, his expression thoughtful as he listens to the woman he once tried to make invisible deliver a keynote address to an international audience. Time has taught him that his initial concerns about cultural integration were less about academic standards and more about his own comfort with change. Michaela's success became a lesson in recognizing talent regardless of the package it arrives in. Jinwoo, now approaching his 40th birthday and recognized as one of Korea's most innovative CEOs, watches from the side of the stage. Park Technologies has become a global leader in cultural collaboration technology, with offices on 5 continents and programs that have connected millions of people across linguistic and cultural barriers. But the most meaningful measure of their success isn't corporate growth or professional recognition. It's the generation of children like Min Jung and Jin-ho, who grow up bilingual, bicultural, and utterly comfortable with the idea that difference is strength rather than division. The question isn't whether we can create a more inclusive world, Michaela continues, her words echoing through the same space where her journey began. The question is whether we're brave enough to become the kind of people who deserve to live in that world. As her presentation concludes, and the audience rises in sustained applause, Michaela looks out over faces that represent dozens of countries, multiple generations, and countless individual stories of courage and transformation. Some are current exchange students, wrestling with the same challenges she once faced. Others are established professionals who've learned to see international collaboration as competitive advantage rather than cultural threat. After the symposium, the Park family walks through Seoul's evening streets toward their favorite restaurant, the same family-run establishment where Michaela and Jinwoo shared their first dinner celebration years ago. Minjung and Jin-ho chatter in their characteristic blend of languages, while their parents follow behind, hands intertwined, discussing the day's presentations and tomorrow's possibilities. "Yoma," Minjung asks as they settle into their traditional floor seating, "will you tell us about the lady in the pictures again?" She's referring to the photograph displayed in their living room, Michaela's grandmother, wearing her golden ring and a smile that speaks of dreams deferred but never abandoned. "Your great-grandmother believed that every generation should go further than the one before," Michaela explains, unconsciously touching the ring that now serves as a bridge between ancestral wisdom and contemporary possibility. She dreamed of a world where her granddaughter could build something beautiful and meaningful, regardless of what other people thought she deserved. "Did she know you would come to Korea?" Jin-ho asks, his Korean more fluent than his English despite growing up in a bilingual household. "I don't think she knew the specific details, but I think she knew that if I was brave enough to refuse limitations, I might discover possibilities she never imagined." Jinwoo adds his perspective, as he always does during these family conversations. "And she probably knew that the best love stories are between people who help each other become more themselves, not less. The children accept this wisdom with the matter-of-fact understanding of a generation that's never questioned whether different kinds of people can build beautiful things together. For them, their parents' intercultural marriage isn't remarkable. It's simply the foundation of their family, as natural as their bilingual conversations and their comfort moving between Korean and American cultural contexts." Later that evening, after the children are asleep and Seoul settles into nighttime quiet, Michaela and Jinwoo stand on their apartment balcony, looking out over the city that transformed them both. The view includes the Park Technologies building where they met, Seoul National University where their story began, and the endless lights of a metropolis that's become more international with each passing year. "Do you think we've actually changed anything?" Michaela asks. A question that reflects not doubt, but the continuing evolution of someone who measures success by impact, rather than recognition. "Look around," Jinwoo responds, gesturing toward Seoul's transformed skyline. "International students who arrive now find support systems that didn't exist when you came here. Korean companies actively recruit global talent instead of seeing foreign perspectives as threats. Children like Minjung and Jin-ho grow up understanding that multiple cultures make them stronger, not confused. And personally, do you think we've changed?" Jinwoo considers the question seriously. "I think we've become the people we were meant to be all along. You were always meant to be a leader who creates opportunities for others. I was always meant to build things that connect different kinds of people. We just needed to find each other to figure out how to do both things well." The rain begins to fall. Not the dramatic storm that marked their early relationship, but the gentle spring rain that nourishes growth rather than announcing crisis. After 10 years of marriage, they've learned that the most meaningful transformations happen gradually through daily choices to support each other's dreams rather than dramatic gestures that capture attention. "Michaela," Jinwoo says, his voice carrying the same wonder it held on their first evening together. "What's next?" The question reflects their shared understanding that their story continues to evolve. Michaela's UNESCO work has opened doors to global policy-making opportunities. Jinwoo's business success has created platforms for even more ambitious cultural collaboration projects. Their children represent a generation that will face challenges and possibilities their parents can't yet imagine. "I don't know exactly," she admits. But I know it will involve creating more space for people who've been told they don't belong, building more bridges between different kinds of communities, and proving that the future belongs to people who embrace change instead of fearing it. And us? What's next for our family? Michaela leans into his embrace, feeling the solid warmth of partnership that has sustained them through professional challenges, cultural pressures, and the daily work of building something meaningful together. More of this. More conversations about how to raise children who are proud of their multicultural heritage. More work that demonstrates how differences create strength. More love that makes us larger rather than smaller. As Seoul's lights twinkle around them, and their children sleep peacefully in bedrooms decorated with art from multiple cultures, Michaela Park reflects on the journey that brought them to this moment. The girl who walked into Seoul National University's auditorium 10 years ago was seeking opportunities to prove herself. The woman who stands here now creates opportunities for others to discover their own potential. The cherry blossoms have long since fallen from Seoul's trees, but their memory remains. A reminder that beautiful things don't have to last forever to create lasting change. Some storms are meant to be weathered. Others are meant to transform everything they touch. In Seoul's gentle spring rain, surrounded by the evidence of everything they've built together, Michaela Bryant Park closes her eyes and listens to the sound of a story that began with the courage to refuse limitations and continues with the wisdom to choose love, growth, and possibility. Again and again, for as long as hearts keep beating and dreams keep expanding. The story that began with two people discovering they could build something beautiful together has become a legacy that will inspire others to believe in love that makes the world larger, not smaller. And in Seoul, where cherry blossoms bloom each spring with the promise of renewal, their children grow up understanding that the best stories are the ones where everyone gets to be the hero of their own transformation.